Hope you had a great weekend. We're coming out of Easter weekend, and I really hope you had a great Easter egg hunt or ate all the chocolate bunnies you could find. I'm personally am a peanut butter chocolate, like Reese's egg or peanut butter egg, whatever those things are called. That's my thing. Not really into the Peeps, but that's all right. One of my favorite things about Easter is that a lot of people who don't normally come to church will show up. So it's really cool to have people trying out churches. I love seeing full churches, not because I'm like, yeah, this church is full. Look at all these numbers. Like, I love big numbers. Be impressed by numbers. I love seeing people come into the house of God. And that can sound so lofty, but a little bit of my story is that ever since I got involved in serving in church, I got saved when I was 16, so I fell in love with the Lord when I was 16, and after that, I just loved serving in the church and making it happen and serving with youth and things like that. I really fell in love with that and just being in church. But when people called it the house of God, I'd be like, oh yes, the house of God, like in a very reverent way, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. But it didn't change the way I looked at church. It didn't change the way I related to other people with that. So let's change it into a metaphor. So right now I'm staying at my friend, we'll call her Susan. I'm staying at Susan's house. Like, I am on the couch, I've got my cup of coffee, I've got some music on in the background, I'm in sweatpants and an old t-shirt, just had a shower. I'm really comfortable. And I'm comfortable not just because I'm in comfy clothes. Oh, and I have slippers on too. I don't know if you can see that, but anyways. Not because I'm just in comfortable clothes, but because I know Susan and I'm comfortable around her. I know she loves me and she's going to be there for me when I need her, things like that. Susan and I are friends. And so when I'm in her home, I feel like I'm at home too. And that's what my revelation was about the house of God, about church. How many of us can actually say, yeah, I feel comfortable and assured that I can be myself in the house of God in church, and that's fine. And there are so many different styles of churches, which can be great or it can be quite overwhelming. But when you're searching for churches and you go into this one and it's really traditional and you're kind of not digging it, the great thing is there's probably another church nearby that's a little bit more contemporary, a little bit more freestyle, whatever you want to call it, which is great about having so many options. But there are a lot of options, so it can be really confusing to figure out what you want as opposed to what you think you should want. God loves you, friend. Like, He loves you whether you've been to church every Sunday, every time the church is open and you've been there. He loves you. And He also loves you if you are petrified to step foot in it. But that's what I want us to talk about and want us to be aware of is coming out of this Easter season and churches being so full and, we're going to come up on another week. And are they going to be as full? What can we do to make church actually feel like the house of God? Like we're walking into a friend's house where we can be comfortable. And it's not necessarily about wearing sweatpants, but you know what? If that's what makes you feel comfortable, just do it. You go in to the house of God, whatever you're comfortable in, whatever you feel, whatever makes you feel like you. Because we don't need people coming into church, and I'm talking to myself here too. Like I don't want to be that person who walks into church feeling like I have to be something. God sees you, God knows you, so He knows when you rock up in a suit and tie if that's not really your thing. He doesn't care what you look like when you come to church, friends. He just wants you in His presence. He wants you to know that you are loved. It's not about like, oh, like these people wear, coats and ties to church every Sunday. That's great for them. I like getting dressed up, but I also like knowing that I would be welcome even if I didn't. Just like I would be welcome in Susan's house, whether I came in heels or I came in my slippers. So what's a way that we can help others feel comfortable? I found this funny clip on YouTube, and the link is right here. It's called What If Starbucks Marketed Like Churches? And it's a parable. It's supposed to be funny, and I thought it was entertaining. I was like, ha ha ha, that's so funny. I thought it was really entertaining and a great way to see how the church experience can be to people who aren't, regular churchgoers. It's very eye-opening, and so I encourage you to watch it. So be thinking about what's one way I can make somebody else's experience in church more like being at a friend's house. Maybe it's getting out of your comfort zone and saying hello to somebody you don't know. It's going to be awkward for like 5 seconds, but you going up and, closing that gap and saying, hey, like, I've never seen you before. Are you new? Have you been coming here? And helping them get connected if that's what they want to do. Just not making them feel like an outsider. That's a big deal. Or if you have that feeling of, I'm not really comfortable at church, I'm glad it's just once a week. What is it that's keeping you from feeling comfortable in church? If it's, your background, your history, just check that at the door, okay? There ain't nobody got time for that. Like I said before, the Lord sees you, He knows you, and He loves you. Okay, everybody else, don't worry about that. Again, He loves you, He sees you, He knows you. If you know somebody who's a once a year, just a holiday goer at church, encourage them to come back and sit with them, introduce them to your friends, and don't overwhelm them and be like, get involved with everything. Take it a step at a time, And if you're that person who's like, I don't really feel comfortable, introduce yourself to somebody. Meet people. Find something that you can serve in that makes you feel comfortable. My prayer and my greatest hope is that people would fall in love with the Lord and that people would fall in love with His church. Because it's for us, just like He's for us, friends. So, with Sunday coming up, be thinking about that, either for yourself or for somebody else. Be looking for people on the outskirts. The people who sit in the back row are sitting by themselves. That's huge! Talk to the people sitting by themselves. Anyways, take the first awkward step, okay? It'll just be awkward for a little bit, but it could open the door to somebody feeling comfortable at church, and that's totally worth it every time. Okay, and keep inviting your friends. That's big, all right? Have a great week, friends. Thanks for tuning in. Invite somebody to church this weekend, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Conundrum.